Every spring and fall, we witness the wonder of V-shaped formations of geese, winging their way from their breeding grounds to their wintering areas and back again. This is one of the most dramatic and recognizable representations of migration in the Northern Hemisphere. In recent decades, long-distance migrants have been facing growing human-made threats to their habitats and the wider environment along their flyways. Migration routes cross many different countries, so conservation has to involve different countries and different organizations, all along their way, to ensure that efforts we put in will impact the target species. For migratory birds, like the red-breasted goose, safe places along their perilous journeys for resting and refueling are as important as their breeding areas and wintering grounds. They have to endure many challenges and overcome a lot of dangers along their flyway. Arguably the most beautiful goose, the red-breasted goose, is also one of the most severely threatened. In the first decade of this century, half the population of this Arctic breeding goose disappeared. There were hopes that a changing climate might have meant those birds were just not traveling as far, but further studies has shown that isn't true and the decline is genuine. For the past 5 years, a partnership of 11 organizations and institutions across the entire flyway of the red-breasted goose have combined their efforts in a project that spans the entire range of this globally threatened species. One of the key threats to the red-breasted goose is illegal killing and poaching during hunting season, and especially during spring and autumn migration at their staging sites. Satellite tracking and color ringing of geese have shown that up to 40% are illegally killed every year. Knowing where the birds are, when they are there, and how long they use certain areas is key for the flyway conservation of red-breasted geese. Therefore, we set out to gather more evidence on the species, its distribution, and movements. We fitted some 40 birds with GPS transmitters to get more data on movements, threats, and key areas of concentration and staging. Via the tags, we gathered almost 200,000 GPS locations from across their entire flyway, discovering details of their lives and their whereabouts as never before. An international team of 50 field workers managed 60 field surveys over 5 winters, with teams working simultaneously across Bulgaria, Romania, and Ukraine. 3 aerial surveys in Russia and Kalmykia, focusing on autumn and spring. 10 autumn and spring surveys in Kazakhstan covered all key areas in the north and northeast of the country, in an attempt to get more information on the actual population numbers in a changing environment. We worked actively with the hunting community in several key ways. We organized an intensive patrolling system during hunting seasons involving field conservation experts and institution representatives. We implemented surveys and acoustic studies of hunting activities. And we talked and discussed issues with the hunters in the field and provided them with materials to help reduce accidental killing of protected species. We organized specialized training for hunters to raise their awareness about sustainable waterbird harvesting, pioneering the implementation of strategic and guidance documents of the African-Eurasian Waterbird Agreement. We worked hard to raise awareness of the species and its ordeals during migration, creating interactive exhibits that were translated into 4 languages. Spreading the word to the wider public has been a major part of our work, especially involving the next generation. We initiated lots of exciting and innovating activities with children and various communities, from the wintering grounds in Bulgaria to Ukraine, to staging areas in Kalmykia, Russia, and Kazakhstan. We managed to stop spring hunting in Kalmykia and in the Stavropol region in Russia, thus granting a safe passage during spring migration all the way from their wintering grounds, through staging areas in Kalmykia and Kazakhstan, to their breeding areas in the Arctic. A major stopover site, managed by one of our Kazakh partners, extended the non-hunting zone in their hunting estate to 35% based on data collected by satellite tags and the expert support by ACBK representatives. Illegal killing continues to be a problem for the species along its migration route. Despite its protection, there were documented cases of both direct proof of killed birds, or the data from the bird's tag indicated foul play. We lost many of our tagged birds, and though some of the birds might have fallen to natural predators, for some, there was clear evidence of human involvement. Migratory birds are vital indicators of the health of our environment. The declines in their populations signal changes and deterioration of the habitats along their migration route. If they shift their routes, then it is an indication of much wider changes happening in our environment. Today, most countries have laws to protect migratory birds and their habitats, and especially those that are threatened and declining. The various international agreements help to make sure that governments pay attention to these issues and threatened species are given enough attention. We hope that the capacity we have built, both locally and internationally, will contribute to a brighter future for the red-breasted goose and other migratory waterbirds.